when she was just a girl.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fishing Midwest. I'm your host John D, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a little tutorial. This is something I've been working on for a while, a couple weeks now. I was at Cabela's and I picked up a few products, and I kind of got inspired to make my own lure today. After I'd worked with some of the materials and the product, I finally came up with a final result, and in my opinion I thought it looked pretty cool. As you may know, I'm a huge bucktail, buckhair fisherman. You know, when I'm using jigs at night for smallmouth, and I wanted something with a little bit more action. I knew that the bucktail hair lacked in movement, and at night that's one of the biggest key things, is having a very dark hair that with a lot of movement and a lot of action. So what I'm going to be showing you today is how to make your very own rabbit hair jig, and I feel like this is something that has been lost in the fishing industry today. Not a whole lot of companies make rabbit hair jigs, and to me it's a really very awesome tool to utilize because you don't need a trailer. You can tie your own rabbit hair to look like a trailer or a crawl or whatever you're trying to imitate, and you don't have to keep switching in and out of plastics. And it's a very, actually in my opinion, very economical way to fish, whether you be fishing for smallmouth at night, largemouth during the day, whatever you prefer. These things catch fish, and being able to make my own and personalize it is really cool. So I feel like I've nailed this little design. I haven't seen this really designed on the market before, so I'm going to show you how to make one of these today, and hopefully you can utilize my techniques and put them to your own work, and maybe possibly make your own rabbit hair jig, or any type of hair jig, whether it be bucktail or artificial hair, whatever you prefer. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoy today's episode. There's plenty of methods on how to do this. I'm just going to show you my method. So what you're going to want to do is start off with your rabbit's hair right here, and I try to get something around 3 inches, 3.5 inches long, something about like that. I put my thumb on where I want to cut, and I grab my scissors, and I'm going to cut a little bit at an angle so that hair has kind of a point to it. Alright, there we go. And if you see that, you're going to have some excess fur like that. See how it's kind of got a little angle to that thing? And you got your back right here, and you're going to do the very same with that. And if you notice, it's got kind of like a pointy tail to it, and what that'll imitate is like a little crawl or minnow. You don't want something flat. By doing this, it adds a little bit of flair and a little bit more action to your jig. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the side that you don't want to be the back and place it on your jig right here, right as close as you can to the start of the head. And I put my thumb right there, and I kind of measure it where I'd want it. And I'm going to take my 12 gauge wire, and I'm just going to start wrapping. And it's a lot easier if you have like a little clamp or something like that, but I'm just old-fashioned, and this is kind of how I do it. Always leave a little excess tag end right there, because you're going to need that later. And you basically start wrapping as tight as you can. You want that jig to be as tight as possible, and you want that fur to stay on there really tight so it lasts plenty of fish and won't fall off really easily. I go around a couple times, probably like 3 or 4 or 5 times, and I stop right there, and I'm going to try to actually just cut it with this, and see, that worked right there. So you can use the nail clipper if you need to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back around like this, and I'm going to meet those 2 tag ends right there, cross over, and start twisting. And by doing this, I'm making sure that that wire doesn't come off, and that way that wire won't slip if I get a fish. And you'll have a little bit of excess wire there, no problem at all. Just cut that off. It's real easy. And if it seems as if it's a little bit too bulky, you can always tie over that again. So there's your first strand right there. It's starting to take some shape. I'm going to do the same operation as I did the last time. Just wrap it around there. Start right there. Get as close as I can to the head so I can't see any of the previous wire beforehand. And I'm going to pull really tight and just start wrapping. So that's about good enough. It's kind of bulky, like I said, but most of the time when you're fishing these jigs, it's going to be at night, and it's going to be in murky water, because that's when these things really excel and really catch fish. So there we go. I'm going to cut the excess of that, and I'm just going to twist these two together. I'm going to use my pliers this time. I'm just grabbing the two together and I'm twisting really tight, as you can see. Just grabbing both strands and twisting them so I get those things to stay in place and make sure they're not going to fall off or slide. So pretty much then your rabbit's hair isn't going to fall off. It's on there very strong. It looks a little bit on the ugly side, but all that matters is that it'll catch fish and it'll bring fish in the boat. So there's your basic hair jig so far, and you're going to add a few more attributes to this to make it look a little bit cooler. So after you've wrapped your 2 strands of rabbit fur, you can continue to add a few more, 3 or 4, probably the max is about 4 or 5, but I'm just going to go 2 because I like that slender look, and that's pretty much all you really need is 2. After that, you're going to move on to your accent over here, which is whatever type of flair or extra you want to add to your jig. Now the one I chose today is a black with silver fleck, and it kind of goes well with the purple, and I'm going to be mainly using this at night, so I want something that kind of reflects on the moonlight and kind of has a good look in deep water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my jig. Now I've already cut a little bit of accent left and from last time, and I'm going to kind of clump that together right there, and I'm going to put it right on my jig, and I keep a little bit in front of the jig. There we go. Kind of get it spread out there, and then I'm just going to basically start tying this, and this is where your metal glue really starts to come in handy here. You're going to tie it the same way as you did the rabbit's fur, only this time you're not going to do it 100 times, you're going to do just a couple, and whatever is left of on there is going to be your accent, so that what you see right there from that point on is what's going to stay on your jig. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just trimming it up, making it look real nice and not so messy. And whatever strands you don't want, you can pull out, because this is such a thin fabric or thin material, you can just pull it straight out of from what you've tied on. So I'm just going to pull out a few excess ones that I don't like, and it's really simple and easy just to do that. So once I've done that, I'm going to cut my wire right here, and I'm just going to twist it like I did with the last one, and see I've got 2 ends right there. I'm just going to grab those 2 ends, bring it together, just twisting, just so they stay tight and good on there. It's a lot easier if you have needle nose pliers. If you notice, I tried doing it with my fingers last time, and that did not work very well. So get some needle nose pliers and it'll work fantastic. Cut off the tag end, make it look neat and nice. And right now your accent's on, but it's not strong enough to be used and fished with. Now once you've completed the process of cleaning up your accent on your jig, which is overlapping the rabbit's fur, you can move on to the step that requires the jewelry metal glue. And any type of strong epoxy will work. I'm just using this because it's inexpensive and it works. Just kind of twist it around your toothpick. Making a huge mess right now, but that's alright. And take your toothpick with the glue on there and just kind of dab it along the sides where you put that accent on there. Put a little clump there and just kind of spread it around and make it look nice and neat. And don't worry about this process looking ugly, because you're going to be overlapping this with another coat of fur after this. Just take some more. I like to put a little bit on like a piece of paper, some glue on a piece of paper, and just kind of go back and forth, kind of like I'm dipping it in like a paintbrush and paint. I'm just trying to get all the way around that accent. I want to make sure it gets all the way around there, 360 degrees. Not going to miss a beat here. Before that started drying, we're going to stick this little collar, almost like a little collar, on a skirt jig, and I'm just going to wrap it right around there. But before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit more cement, plastic cement, just so the collar can stick on there as well. And like I said, it looks a little gnarly right now, but you can always go back and fix it. So after you've put the collar on there and you've made sure there's enough glue but not too much, you let it sit there for a while. Usually you put a little clamp around there to keep it from sticking. Make sure the clamp isn't touching any of the glue, and just clamp that down, wait for about 20-30 minutes, let it sit some more, and it should be pretty good. And that right there is the final product of your custom hair jig that will fit your preference and style. Thanks for watching, and if you guys want to check these jigs out, I'll be having them on sale at a show at March. I'll post the details down below where you can find some of these jigs, or you could just personal message me and I can make them some for you. I'm not sure if I'm going to be selling them, but if you'd like a few to prototype and put them in your videos, just let me know and I'll see if I can send some your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time on Fishing the Midwest.